Hello, everyone. How's it going? Well, here we are, right? And then we're going to get started here in just a few minutes. I've got a few more minutes before the official 1 o'clock starts, but here I am. I've started. And one thing I can tell you right here from the beginning is that Mondays at the farm, that's a good thing. It's a very, very, very good thing. It's very much what I have some junk up there on my screen. Okay. It's very, very, very much become what I could have only imagined, or maybe I didn't even imagine, or I didn't even think about like what the reality of what it could become. But what I find the most interesting about it being successful is that it was a commitment I made with God. Truly. That was when it started, and when I thought of the idea and how I was going to do it, and who I was doing it for and why I was doing it, and what I wanted from it was that I wanted to make a commitment. I wanted to say, okay, I have something to share. And it wasn't about just sharing messages or content, but about sharing the gifts that I have here. The gift of space, the gift of outdoor unique adventures, the gift of the animals, whatever it is that people were potentially looking for in terms of, and it's funny too, because when people come out, they're interested. They honestly don't know what they're coming to, and then they get here, and I can tell by the end of it they're in love with the concept. They're in love with the space, and their children. This is the thing that has been so good for me. Their children, there's lots of different people coming out, but the majority of people that have been coming out have been moms with children. And one of the things that they have found really lovely, and I also have found really lovely, is that their children look at me and they just attach to me, and they connect with me. And that means a lot to me, because these little children with what they can see, what they can see in someone, what they can see, how they can see through and into the love that exists within someone, the light that exists within someone. And I'm questioning a lot of things right now, which is no surprise. And frankly, I have been questioning a lot of things for a solid few years. And then things that came up in this last year that I just wasn't. It wasn't that I wasn't expecting. It wasn't that I didn't foresee it coming. It wasn't that I didn't already have the vision ahead of time that it was going to be coming. But it was that I didn't know how. And I don't know how today. So I shouldn't be surprised that something's coming that I just don't know how it's coming. The scary thing about it is that this particular situation that I'm currently in is extremely painful, but also an extreme amount of opportunities. So seeing this, the way that this Monday at the farm has been evolving, has been a part of me. I didn't know how. This is me learning that I don't know how, and saying I don't know how, but I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, and I'm going to make the commitments that are most aligned with the values that I understand today, the best that I can do today. And I can't do anything more than that. It's fascinating how easy I cry. when I come here to talk to you guys. And what I'm loving the most about this experience, this part of it, the contemplative study group stuff, is that I'm connecting with people on YouTube because of this. I'm finding that there are a lot of people out there in the world that are fascinated by this concept, and that here in my local community, where I have my doors flung wide open, I'm seeing people are coming to the farm. So there's steps in mind, body, spirit that we're all trying so desperately to figure out. And I'm no different than anyone else when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm here with you on YouTube, or I'm here live with you on Facebook, and we are simply figuring it out. So I want to say thank you for being here. I'm glad we're here together. And if you're here in the live, drop a comment in. Let's have a conversation. And if you're here in the replay, drop a like or a comment. If you're here on YouTube, thank you. Please subscribe to my channel, because other things that are coming out. I have a great podcast this week with an amazing life coach that I have followed over the last few years, that lives in my area. And so she came and had dinner with me. Her name is Sarah Longoria. And then last week's episode was a episode with a local death doula, where we talked about death at the dinner table. And so there's all of these amazing things that are occurring. But what I wanted to say today, above anything else, is that we're going through hard times. It's not just me alone. And I feel this. I mean, I think that probably more than anything else, if I could just begin to understand that this isn't just about me alone. The feelings that I'm having are not just about me alone. They're about us all. They're about what we're all facing, and how each one of us is facing a different aspect of whatever it is that is most needed for you to face. But that we're all feeling it, and I'm feeling it. And I'm having grand experiences, even in my sleep, with how I feel about what's occurring in the universe right now, what's occurring on the planet right now, what's occurring for each of us. And what I see is that you're reaching out and you're asking for help. Just like I'm reaching out and asking for help. And I'm grateful to be here, to be a part of that, and to have committed to it, regardless of what it becomes or how we actually find the connection or the interaction that works best for us as people, as collaborators. And no matter what comes next on this planet or what comes next in our consciousness, I am not in control of any of that. And you know, that affects me as a person. That's a part of the trauma and the healing that I'm dealing with, is the idea that if I'm not in control, then I'm afraid, terrified, in fact, when I'm not in control. And learning that and processing it and being here with you to process it means a lot to me. And so I'm thankful for those of you that show up. I'm thankful for those of you that interact and that comment. And I hope that you'll continue to interact. I hope that you'll find other ways to interact with me. And I look forward to the exciting things that we have as a people to experience. And maybe I'm feeling things in a wave a bit ahead of the mass. It's not unusual for that to occur. Maybe my vision can see things that are 10 years out that I don't know how to process necessarily. But that's what I've found about myself in my life. In my 44 years of life, I'm always about 10 years ahead of what makes sense for myself, my consciousness, my personal consciousness. And that tends to be a bit scary. It tends to be a part of someone who has the ability to be a path interrupter, and a rule breaker, but the general mass hasn't reached that vision yet, and the general mass hasn't seen those things yet. And so because of that, they aren't quite ready. And so it looks like I'm a troublemaker or a rule breaker or a path interrupter, and that I'm here to simply stir the pot. When in fact, this is where I am. And I can't force anybody else to keep up, to catch up, to be a part of it. It's a choice. All I can do is open my gate and make a commitment to God that I'm available and that I'm here and that I'm doing the best that I can every single day to be here for that. And so that's what I'm here for. And that expression of sharing whatever it is that we have is what we're being asked so often in terms of showing the miracles. Let me show you what I'm seeing. Not just let me tell you, but let me show you. Let me show you what it feels like to feel that. Let me show you what it looks like to grow that. Let me show you what it looks like to be wide open and to even be hurt by someone that doesn't know that they're hurting you, to be hurt by someone that doesn't even understand the pain that they're personally in. We're all dealing with that. I'm doing the exact same thing to other people. The expression of not understanding the hurt that I'm expressing onto other people. And looking at each one of those things, and then in the end, knowing that no matter what, I'm speaking to my own reflection right this second, as I work very desperately to learn how to look inside that camera rather than looking in my own eyes, but to look at you. But to know that looking at you is looking at me. It is looking at me. This is a fascinating experience to have committed to doing this. Once a week, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to express my emotion with some friends. I'm going to share some things that I'm studying and learning about. And is that even working? Am I learning anything? Is there anything coming out of this? All I can do is open up the gates and say, here I am. If you want to be here, I'm here for you. If you want to learn, my doors are open. And there often is an exchange of resources. And sometimes the exchange of resources is simply that you let me hug your child and take a picture with your child. Today, this little sweetheart, this cute little boy, 2-year-old that it reminded me so much of my son. He just looks up at me and he just smiles with his big rosy cheeks and he just talks to me, and he's 2. And he talks to me about caterpillars and butterflies, caterpillars and butterflies, and he takes a picture with me. And that's an exchange of resources. And that's what we're doing. That's all we're doing on this planet. It's just exchanging resources, exchanging energy, exchanging experiences. And so, of course, I'm going to get on here and just well up with tears and cry and have all the emotions of everything that is happening on the planet, and everything that has happened to us up to this moment, not just to me, the 44 years of existence, but everybody that created me, everybody that got to me, that made me. All of it is an expression that's coming out right now on this world. What does that look like? And how does it work? How do we do it? And how do we do it when we don't feel good? And how do we do it when we're feeling sad, alone, afraid, And the fact is that I think that I told somebody today that the Course in Miracles, I think that that's what the Course in Miracles does for me. Aside from giving me the opportunity of training me, that even when I don't feel like it, and I'm telling you right now, I have not felt like it the last 2 weeks. Even when I don't feel like it, I still get up in the morning. I pray. I thank God. I tell God I'm willing to be there for whatever it is that God is willing. And that I know that my greatest will align. And I'm not afraid of that anymore. And I'm letting that occur, even though I don't know what to do with today. So today, I get up and I just read the book. And I read the lesson. And I think about what it's trying to tell me. And I try very hard to learn, and I'm not lazy. I'm not doing it good enough. I'm not a failure in what I'm doing. It's just a day to figure it out. It's another day to share God's will. And today, it was interesting. And I thought about a lot of the things that I read this morning with the kiddo and the mom and talking to some other people. And I had plans for some things this evening that I said, I can't do that today. I'm overwhelmed and I'm not, and the feeling that I'm feeling right now inside of me, the anxiety, it doesn't make sense because the things that I'm doing are fun. Recording podcasts and having dinner with friends and inviting people to come and showing kids around the garden and talking on lives and recording podcasts and reading books and spending time with God. Everything that I get to do in life to make money is fun. And when it's not fun, I'm doing something wrong. And I need to make a change, or I need to ask for what I want. I need to share what I want. I need to share what I need. So that if I share what I need, I get that return back to me just the same. So today's today's section, and we're going through chapter 30, which is the new beginning chapter. It's like all the things that we were taught about how everything that we knew in the world was wrong. Everything we know everything we know about the world, everything we understand about the world it's an illusion, even though form is real. We made form real enough to convince us it was real. And now that we've embodied that and begun to really understand, like I can really understand, look around and say, it's all an illusion, which means I can shift it all. And I do. Hands down. One of the things I have learned over the last 20 years, if in and out of studying the Course and other things that I have studied, is that I am 100% in control of how I feel in this world. Even if I am not 100% in control of how things happen as I move forward. We get to this part in the book and it's saying, now this is how you move forward. And I think that it's fascinating that it's been the awakening, chapter 29, and then the new beginning, chapter 30, is where I've been the most challenged this year. Because I did this book last year. I did it different. I didn't read daily. I read, and then I did the lesson daily. But this year I'm doing the section daily, like two sheets a day, and then I'm doing the lesson, and I'm doing it all daily. And so to land on this and to see how hard it's been when I get to the section of the Course. And when I say the Course, I'm talking about life's course, not the course book, but it is an alignment, because all this is a tangible thing that I have created I've created for myself in order to understand what I'm doing day to day, how I'm living in this world, how I'm living in this life. What am I doing now? How do I do it? And then it's hard, the new beginning. Are we at the new beginning? Are we on the bridge? Are these ascension symptoms? What the hell is going on? Why do I feel like this? What are we doing? And then everybody says, go to God. I do. All day, every day, all day, every day. I cannot imagine that there's anybody that goes to God more than I do. I mean, really, like, I'm not trying to be, I'm just, I all the time. Every second, I think of it as often as I possibly can, purposely and intentionally. What is it that God wants from me in this very moment? And sometimes it's easier to see it. It's easier to feel it. It's easier to experience it. But maybe that's because sometimes it's an easy feeling. And sometimes when it's not an easy feeling, when it's a hurtful feeling, it is a translation that the Holy Spirit is giving us of what can we do with this? What's the opportunity? How do we turn this? What comes next? What do you want? Where are you going? What do you want us to experience? Lots of words today. It's like just, right? Just kind of expressing out of me. So let's go to the reading, right? And then we can talk a little bit more. Chapter 30, the new beginning. And this is section, 6, I think. The justification for forgiveness. In my book, it's on 638. This is interesting. Anger is never justified. I can tell you repeatedly, even within the last months and weeks, that I have tried to justify my anger because of the way I behaved when I was angry. And because I've been shown my mirror of how I behaved when I was angry. And all the while, I'm working to justify that behavior because I was angry. And so therefore, that behavior is justifiable. Anger is never justified. Attack has no foundation. Attack has no foundation. It is here escape from fear begins. Interesting. And will be made complete. Here's the real world given in exchange for dreams of terror. Here's the real world given up in exchange for dreams of terror. For it is on this forgiveness rests and is but natural. You are not asked to offer pardon where attack is due and would be justified. For that would mean you forgive a sin by overlooking what is really there. This is where it's going to go back to saying you can't forgive something that didn't actually happen, right? So if we're in forgiveness, we're still in a place of believing that the thing actually happened, the pain, the harm, the hurt. And it says that giving forgiveness for a sin is still seeing the separate self in sin because we have the ability to give forgiveness. And it said this is not a pardon, for it would assume that by responding in a way which is not justified, your pardon will become the answer to attack and has been made. And thus is pardon inappropriate, but being granted where it is not due. Pardon is always justified. It has a sure foundation. You do not forgive the unforgivable, nor overlook a real attack that calls for punishment. Salvation does not lie in being asked to make unnatural responses, which are inappropriate to what is real. Instead, it merely asks you respond appropriately to what is not real by perceiving what has not occurred. Right? So, the most challenging part about all of this is the paradox of the idea that we're living in a world that is not real, but because we believe it's real, we have to act as if we understand that it's not real, which means that when we offer forgiveness, we're offering forgiveness for something that's not real, but that's the only way we can begin to heal in the not real. Salvation does not lie in being asked to make unnatural responses, which are inappropriate to what is real. Instead, it merely asks that you respond appropriately to what is not real by perceiving what has not occurred. If pardon were unjustified, you would be asked to sacrifice your rights when you return forgiveness for attack. But you are merely asked to see forgiveness as natural reaction to distress that rests on error and thus calls for help. See? We're asked to give forgiveness for something that we potentially know isn't real, but that we're being asked for help. And the best thing we can do is give what we have to give. And what we have to give right now is forgiveness, because that's what we understand when we understand what forgiveness actually is. Forgiveness is the only sane response. It keeps your rights from being sacrificed. This understanding is the only change that lets the real world rise to take place of dreams of terror. So in this place, we can begin to understand that forgiveness wasn't necessary. In our state of forgiveness, we can begin to understand that our forgiveness wasn't necessary. In our state of healing, we can begin to understand that healing wasn't necessary. That we are healed and healing isn't necessary. This is the paradox. This is the confusing part. This is the part that anyone that wants to argue away the status of the fact that this table or that 18-wheeler is going to run over me if I walk in, they're going to argue it away. If we choose to argue with the idea that reality isn't reality, that we know isn't reality. We're arguing with something that there is no point in arguing. We don't understand it well enough to understand the argument. The understanding is the only change that lets the real world rise to take the place of dreams of terror. Fear cannot arise unless attack is justified. And if it had a real foundation, pardon would have none. The real world is achieved when you perceive the basis of forgiveness is quite real and fully justified. While you regard it as a gift unwarranted, it must uphold the guilt you would forgive. Unjustified forgiveness is attack. And this is all the world can ever give. It pardons sinners. You can't pardon a sinner if a sinner's not real. Sometimes, but remains aware that they have sinned. If we're pardoning a sinner, then we are staying in a space where they sinned, where they still did it wrong. They still are the enemy. They still are the one that's against us. And so they do not merit the forgiveness that it gives. So you're not really forgiving. And this is hard when you want to forgive, but you're still holding a grudge. How do I let go? It's an understanding that it wasn't real to begin with. That the real harm that I feel wasn't real. This is the false forgiveness which the world employs to keep the sense of sin alive. Right? If we keep this false forgiveness, if we keep this false, I forgive you, but I'll never forget what you did to me. Right? I'll forgive you, but I can't quit thinking about how much pain, how angry, justified anger. My anger is justified because of the way you behaved. You're a sinner. It's still the same. We're keeping that sin alive and recognizing God is just. It seems impossible his pardon could be real. Thus is the fear of God the sure result of seeing pardon as unmerited. I don't deserve pardon. I don't deserve forgiveness. I deserve forgiveness. Why? Because I was created by God. Because I am. That's it. Because I am a part of God. And the fact of the matter is, even the forgiveness that I deserve isn't necessary, isn't real, is only there because I still believe at the end of the day in the thing I did wrong, in the thing that someone else did wrong. No one sees him as guilty. Thus is the fear of God the sure result of seeing pardon as unmerited. No one who sees himself as guilty, me, can avoid the fear of God. All this shit that's come. So if I believe that everything that exists in this world is of God, or that nothing can exist outside of God, then all the pain that occurs is God doing things to me. But he is saved from this dilemma if he can forgive. The mind must think of its creator as it looks upon itself. The mind must think of its creator as it looks upon itself. Now think about that. If I look upon myself and I say, God, you're such a control freak. God, you're such a control freak. The mind must think of its creator as it looks upon itself. If you can see your brother's merits pardon, you have learned forgiveness is your right as much as his. Nor will you think that God intends for you a fearful judgment that your brother does not merit. For it is truth that you can merit neither more nor less than he. So whatever you're giving, you're getting. And whatever you're getting, you're giving. Forgiveness recognized as merited will heal. Forgiveness recognized as merited. Forgiveness recognized as deserved. Forgiveness recognized as your right. Forgiveness recognized as your pardon. Forgiveness recognized as you didn't need it to begin with, so I might as well go ahead and give it to you. Will heal. And when you see that healing come from forgiveness, you see the miracle. And all of these things, remember, all of these things are truly unnecessary. They are a part of the illusion of life that we are living to experience what we look like in a reflection of ourselves. This is how you learn that you must be forgiven too. We must be forgiven because we have chosen to believe that we have done something wrong. There can be no appearance that cannot be overlooked, for if there were, it would be necessary first there be some sin that stands beyond forgiveness. There would be an error that is more than a mistake, a special form of error that remains unchangeable, eternal, and beyond correction or escape. There would be one mistake that had the power to undo creation. If there's any mistake, then there's one mistake that has the power to undo creation and to make the world that could replace it and destroy the will of God. So we believe we deserve the punishment for creating that. When we created the world to be in competition with God, and we didn't even understand that we were doing it. That's the holy innocence. right? We didn't even understand that we're doing it. So therefore, we didn't understand that we're doing it. God can give us forgiveness, not even unnecessary. It's not even necessary to give us forgiveness, but God's giving us forgiveness because that forgiveness helps heal us as we're here in this world where we believe we created a world to compete with God. We created a world. When we buy car insurance, that's competing with God. That's that God can't insure. So we're going to do it ourselves. When we grow our own food, we are creating a world where we are in competition with God. Because God isn't going to feed us. We'll have to feed ourselves. Only if this were possible could there be some appearances that could withstand the miracle and not be healed by it. So it's just like, it's if you could create this world in competition, if you could actually create something that was in competition with God, but we can't. It's impossible. We think we can. We can create the dream of terror, the nightmare, where we're in competition with God, which is what we've created, but we're not in competition with God. And God's not in competition with us. No, I mean, think about that. Why would God need to be in competition with us? We're inside God. We don't even exist separate from God. So anything that we're an entire ecosystem of God. We are literally like one cell or one tree or one grain of salt in the reflection of God. And in that smallness, we have the equal ability to create with our mind anything we want to see. But in that creation, we are still only a speck of sand in the ecosystem that is God. There is no super proof of idolatry. Let's see. There would be one mistake that had the power to undo creation and to make a world that could replace it and destroy the will of God. Only if this were possible could there be some appearances that could withstand the miracle and not be healed by it. There is no surer proof idolatry is what you wish than a belief there are some forms of sickness and of joylessness forgiveness cannot heal. This means that you prefer to keep some idols and are not prepared as yet to let all idols go. And thus you think that some appearances are real and not appearances and are not appearances at all. Be not deceived about the meaning of a fixed belief that some appearances are harder to look past than others are, right? Some pain, some treatment, some experiences, some... I mean, you can think about some things. I have a list of things inside my head right now. It's like, well, that was pretty fucking bad. And so because of that, well, I have to understand that one's too hard. I can't let that one go. I mean, if you think about some of the most villainous crimes that exist on the planet, we aren't willing to let that go. I mean, if you think about some things, how could you see, if you think about some of the things that's possible that people can do on the planet to other people, and you think about the most heinous ones that could exist, and then you think about looking at that person and saying, I forgive you. You are wholly innocent. In fact, you're God. You're Christ-like. How do you do that? Because when you hold that person out, you hold yourself out. Period. Be not deceived about the meaning of a fixed belief that some appearances are harder to look past than others are. It always means you think forgiveness must be limited. And you have set a goal of partial pardon and a limited escape from guilt for you. So you give what you get, and you get what you give. So if you only give partial forgiveness, you only get partial forgiveness. I'm speaking to myself in such a, I mean, that's the thing that's so fascinating to me about this, and the alignment and the things we're talking about and the things that I'm going through and the experiences that I'm having. And God, could you make it easier, please? God, could you make it easier, please? What can this be except false forgiveness of yourself and everyone who seems apart from you? You are separate. Over there, you did this thing to me, and you hurt me, and it's your fault, and I'm angry, and so all of my behaviors, all of the bleh of nastiness that's bleh coming out of my bleh is all justifiable, right? No. None of it is. None of it is. And the worst things that I speak about that have nothing to do with me are no less forgivable than the things that happened closer to me. Okay? And to understand that you don't have to give forgiveness to something that isn't real unless you believe it's real, is to begin to understand that everything deserves forgiveness because nothing is real. It must be true the miracle can heal all forms of sickness, or it cannot heal. It can heal all forms of sickness, every kind of mental sickness, body sickness, spiritual sickness. It can heal any kind of sickness, or it can heal none. You don't get to cherry pick the miracles that exist. All or nothing. And if you cherry pick, you get cherry picked. Your guilt, your sins, you cherry pick, you get cherry picked. You give cherry picking, you get cherry picking. Its purpose cannot be to judge which forms are real and which appearances are true. If one appearance must remain apart from healing, one illusion must be apart from truth. And you could not escape all guilt, but only some of it. You must forgive God's Son entirely. You must forgive us, the sonship, God's Son, Christ, the body, us, entirely. All of it. The darkest, most heinous, most hurtful parts of us. We have to forgive it all. All of it. None of it is unforgivable. Or you will keep an image of yourself that is not whole, and will remain afraid to look within and find escape from every idol there. Salvation rests on faith. There cannot be some form of guilt that you cannot forgive, and so there cannot be appearances that have replaced the truth about God's Son. Look on your brother with a willingness to see him as he is, and do not keep a part of him outside your willingness that he be healed. To heal is to make whole. To heal was we were already whole. To heal is to simply recognize there was no healing required because we were already healed. And what is whole can have no missing parts that have been kept outside. Forgiveness rests on recognizing this and being glad there cannot be some form of sickness which the miracle must lack the power to heal. God's Son is perfect, or he cannot be God's Son. Nor will you know him if you think he does not merit the escape from guilt in all its consequences and its forms. There is no way to think of him but this, if you would know the truth about yourself. And then it's got this little prayer. I thank you, Father, for your perfect Son, and in this glory I will see my own. Here is the joyful statement that there are no forms of evil that can overcome the will of God. The glad acknowledgement that God has succeeded by your wish to make illusions real, and what is this except a simple statement of the truth? Look on your brother with this hope in you, look on your brother with this hope in you. Look on your brother with this hope in you. And you will understand he could not make an error that could change the truth in him. It is not difficult to overlook mistakes that have been given no effects. But what you see as having power to make an idol of the Son of God, you will not pardon. For he has become to you a graven image and a sign of death. Is this your Savior? Is his Father wrong about his Son? Or have you been deceived in him who has been given you to heal for your salvation and deliverance? Or have you been deceived in him who has been given you to heal for your salvation and deliverance? That was the question, and then it's going to move on to the next section, which next week will be over in a completely different part. One of the things I want to tell you about that is coming up is that the first 2 weeks in August, I'm actually going to be traveling on the road. I'm looking to I'm looking to try to figure out how to do this, what I'm doing right now, on the road still, to continue, and also to create content in other situations. So it'll be really interesting. I may do these lives from my phone. It might actually be easier for me to do it that way. So we'll see how it turns out. But I just thought about that when I was thinking about the next weeks and the next upcoming, and the thing is, the interesting thing is that we are coming close to the end of chapter 31 is the end, and I will have finished reading the entire course, but we'll still have the lessons as we move forward. And so I might even go back to the beginning and just read through it again to see how that aligns with the next set of lessons and what's going on in my life at that point. Interesting, right? Okay. Where am I? Lesson 110, I am as God created. No, that was yesterday's. Today. Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. I am as God created me. Just saying those words out loud makes me feel good. I am as God created me. I am as God created me. I am as God created me. We will repeat today's idea from time to time. Just every time you think about it. I am as God created me. For this one thought would be enough to save you and the world, if you believe that it is true. Its truth would mean that you have made no changes in yourself that have reality, nor changed the universe, so that what God created was replaced by fear and evil, misery and death. If you remain as God created you, fear has no meaning. Evil is not real, and misery and death do not exist. Today's idea is therefore all you need to let complete correction heal your mind and give you perfect vision that will heal all the mistakes that any mind has made at any time or place. This is that all the ancestors, everything that ever existed that created this moment and this time, this day, it will heal all the mistakes that any mind has made at any time or place. It is enough to heal the past and make the future free. And God, do I want that more than anything in the world. God, do I want to heal the past for us and to make the future free. It is enough to let the present be accepted as it is. It is enough to let time be the means for all the world to learn to escape from time. Oh, would I love to escape from time. If I could escape from time, how free would I be? How free would I be if I could escape from time? And every change that time appears to bring in passing by. If you remain as God created you, appearances cannot replace the truth. Health cannot turn to sickness, nor can death be substitute for life or fear for love. All this has not occurred if you remain as God created you. You need no thought, but just this one to let redemption come to light, the world, and free it from the past. And this one thought is all the past undone, the present saved to quietly extend into a timeless future. If you are as God created you, then there has been no separation of your mind from His, no split between your mind and other minds, and only unity within your own. The healing power of today's idea is limitless. It is the birthplace of all miracles, the great restorer of the truth to the awareness of the world. Practice today's idea with gratitude. This is the truth that comes to set you free. This is the truth that God has promised you. This is the word in which all sorrow ends. For your 5-minute practice periods, begin with this quotation from the text. I am as God created me. His son can suffer nothing. I am his son. Then, with this statement firmly in your mind, try to discover your mind, the self who is the Holy Son, God of himself. This is the bringing that Christ consciousness. Not bringing it in. That's not the right way to say it. It's not bringing it in. It is. It's recognizing that it is here for us. From the moment that it was, that the first mind of Jesus connected with our Christ consciousness, it is here for us, for our mind. We are it. We seek him within you who is Christ in you, the Son of God and brother to the world, the Savior who has been forever saved with power to save whoever touches him, however lightly, asking for the word that tells him he is brother unto him. You are as God created you. Today, honor yourself. Let graven images you made to be the Son of God instead of what he is be worshipped not today. Taking Christ and turning him into an idol, the idol that we've been asked to never create. You are as God created you. Today, honor yourself. Let graven images you made to be the Son of God instead of what he is be worshipped not today. Deep in your mind, the Holy Christ in you is waiting your acknowledgement as you, and you are lost and do not know yourself while he is unacknowledged and unknown. Seek him today and find him. He will be your Savior from all idols you have made. For when you find him, you will understand how worthless are your idols, and how false is the images which you believed were you. Today we make a great advance to truth by letting idols go and opening our hands and hearts and minds to God today. We will remember him throughout the day with thankful hearts and loving thoughts for all who meet with us today. For it is thus that we remember him, and we will say that we may be reminded of his Son, our holy self, the Christ in each of us. I am as God created me. Let us declare this truth as often as we can. This is the word of God that sets you free. This is the key that opens the gate of heaven. I am opening the gates. I am making a commitment that I am as God created me. And that lets you enter in the peace of God and his eternity. So as I go through all of that, right? In the beginning, I'm talking, I'm expressing my emotion, I'm having these feelings, I'm feeling and experiencing, and what is this that I'm feeling, and how do I feel, and at the end of the day, I am as God created me. All of these feelings are only here to express to me a feeling that an experience that I am having and that I no longer want to have, because I'm ready to understand my wholeness. I'm ready to understand my unity with God. I'm ready to understand that I am as God created me. Even as I in my own mind created all of these other paths to experience, at the end of the day, at the end of this life, at the end of this universe, at the end of this whatever it is that God's doing right now with planet Earth and with planet Aislinn and with planet us, planet America, planet United States, planet whatever is occurring, I am as God created me. This is my truth. And in all of these other feelings, to begin to continue to keep reminding to ourselves that it's okay to feel those feelings. And it is also okay to get up off the floor, to wipe the tears away, to remind myself that I am as God created me, and that God created me awesome and beautiful and brilliant and amazing and intelligent and wise. All the things that God ever could have been, ever wanted to be, ever intended to be, ever thought about being, that he held on to in his thoughts of love and forgiveness and joy and beauty. All the things he held on to for us in the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is, the gates are wide open. I am opening up the gates. Why do I get to open up the gates? Because I am as God created me. And I am whole and one with God. So if I can open up the gates in my life, then I can open up the gates in my spirit. I can open up the gates in my mind. I can open up the gates for the Christ consciousness that has existed in the universal consciousness since the moment we asked for it. And it is here for all of us. And it doesn't matter how you go about that experience, where or who or with whom you hang out with, or what buildings you go to discuss these things. I am as God created me. I have within me the Christ consciousness that is here to express to me that I am the Son of God, with God, in an experience of God. And that is it. And in my forgiveness, I forgive all of humanity. Every single time I give to my brother the forgiveness, I give to myself the forgiveness, I give to the Son forgiveness. And I am as God created me. I love you all. I'm so glad to be here with you every week, every experience, no matter what comes out. I'm so glad to have this opportunity to be a part of this with you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for watching the replays. Thank you for participating in the lives. Thank you for being here. Thank you for existing. Thank you for trying. Thank you for being willing. And thank you for being willing to be willing. I love you. I hope you have the best day ever. I hope you have the best week ever. I hope you have the best life ever. And if you're here with me on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. It's really, really, really helps me out. And if you're here with me in a replay, please comment. Tell me you're here. Let me know how much you're enjoying this. Let me know the thoughts that you have about things. I may not have anything major or wonderful to say back, but let me know you're here. Let's be in this together. I love you. Have a beautiful day.